A while back, I made a video on how to repair broken UMDs by taping them back together. It's a method I use a lot myself and I've never seen anyone else talk about, so I put together a quick video to get the information out there. It ended up doing pretty well, being the 5th most viewed video on my channel. In the time since that video, I've improved this method and have addressed one of its largest points of criticism. The results are kinda ugly. In the past, I was applying this method as a quick fix, when in reality, I needed it to be a permanent one. You can always buy replacement shells, but I prefer taping because it's something I can do without spending money or waiting for a delivery. These are all of the repaired UMDs in my collection, and this is what they all look like now, having been redone with the improved method. I think it's a pretty big difference. As far as I can tell, there's no known official names for any parts of a UMD's shell or casing, so I'm going to be referring to the parts using names used by the community and my own creation. For the record, I'm aware that the terms shell and casing seem to be used interchangeably throughout the community, and vendors typically list their replacement parts in the same way. I'm going with shell for this video, as to me, casing, or case, refers to the plastic game boxes PSP games are sold in. The white part that makes up the sides of the shell is the frame. The clear sections of the front and back of the shell are the front and back windows. The section of the back window that's been cut out so the UMD can be read is called the reader cutout. This part right here is called a silkscreen print, but we're going to call it the label for convenience. It should be noted sometimes these are blank and don't have any writing on them. The final term is actually part of the UMD itself and not the shell that surrounds it. The center of a UMD is magnetic and designed to attach to the drive's motor when inserted. We're going to call it the magnetic center. To fix your UMDs, you'll need a good tape dispenser, a pair of scissors, and a roll of Scotch brand transparent tape. I personally use Scotch brand everything for this as their products are readily available and yield the best results. If you use other tape, it could show up too much and look ugly. If you need to purchase any of these supplies, I have affiliate links for them down in the description. You'll also need a PSP with a known working UMD drive. Step 1. Check to see if the UMD can be read reliably. This can be tricky as UMD shells are pretty fragile and quite the balancing act. From personal experience, 99% of UMDs won't read because the shell has collapsed somewhere. If the disc looks dirty, you can gently wipe it clean using a microfiber cloth or a Kleenex via the reader cutout, or spray some compressed air inside. Alternatively, the magnetic center may have become detached. A detached magnetic center is easy to visually identify, but unfortunately has a different solution that is not covered in this video. There is also the extremely rare chance your UMD may not be reading due to scratches, and I'm talking rarely enough I've yet to personally see it. Sadly, scratching issues cannot be determined unless the shell is functioning the way it's supposed to, as visual indicators are not a guarantee. Once you've determined the shell needs to be repaired for whatever reason, move on to Step 2. Step 2. Assess problem areas. Check the shell for cracks or areas where parts of it have fallen in or been pushed out. Sometimes this is difficult to see from a distance, so lightly run your thumb around the outer edge of the front window and see if you can feel where it's fallen in. You may also want to check the back window as well, although I've yet to run into any issues located there. The other common problem area is the frame being split in half along the top. This one doesn't always result in the disc being unreadable, but if it's stored in a game case, you can actually catch the upper peg on it and potentially break the shell more. Step 3. Popping problem areas back into place. Once you find areas where the shell has moved out of place, you'll need to attempt to reposition them. These actions can be somewhat different depending upon what's actually wrong, so I'll give a few examples. If the front window has sunken in, attempt to push the front window back into position from the back window side. You'll have to press on the middle of the disc or the part exposed by the reader cutout. This sounds bad, but you're using too little force to harm the disc. The middle of the disc has some lips on it that will help you get leverage with your thumb. Once the front window is popped back into place, place a shorter piece of tape over the problem area on the front window side. Cut the extra tape into strips along the side and smooth it out along the back windows. This is the same taping method you'll use in the next few examples, though you may have to tape more areas. Don't tape over the label, the reader cutout, or the magnetic center. You can tape over most other holes or indents in the frame, but when you put the UMD in a PSP for the first time afterward, you'll have to close the disk drive with a small amount of force to puncture the tape. This doesn't hurt your console, but you can cut the tape by hand if you'd prefer to avoid it. If the front window has become completely detached, you'll need to put the front window back in and have it sit flush with the top part of the frame as best as you can. This can be easier said than done, and until you start repairing, you'll usually need something inside the shell to hold it in place. I use Kleenexes for this as they are soft enough they won't cause scratches, which can be a risk with other tissue brands. Take out the front window and place the tissue inside so it is sticking out of the reader cutout. Use the tissue to fill the gap between the disc and the front window. Usually this only takes 1 or 2 folds. Be sure to cut the tissue so it can be pulled through the reader cutout easily. Put the window back on, get it even with the frame, and tape it up. When you're done, you can pull the tissue out. Do it gently to avoid ripping it. If the frame is split, it doesn't always result in the UMD being unreadable, but it can get worse over time if not treated. This is as easy as applying tape across the area that has split. I also highly recommend taping over the faint arrow at the top of the front window. This prevents the clips in PSP game cases from splitting the frame on accident, which is incredibly common. Just recently, I bought a PSP Street that came with some UMDs, and 3 of the 4 are split in this exact way. While you are handling the UMD, problem areas may pop back out of place. As you address them, it becomes easier to keep unaddressed ones in place. Don't be afraid to pop areas back into place a few times. Rarely you may need to do this with already taped areas, but it's much easier to redo those compared to when they weren't taped. Just do your best, and eventually, with patience, you will finish.
Step 4.
Put the UMD in a PSP and confirm it can be read by the console. I've never had any issues, but if by chance your UMD still isn't reading and it doesn't look like there are any problems with the shell, it's likely one of the other issues I mentioned before. A detached magnetic center, or scratches. If you suspect it's the shell still, re-examine and check for problem areas you missed, or did a poor job repairing. If it reads, you're all done. And there you have it. As a collector, this taping method has been a total lifesaver when I come across discs in an unreadable state. A while back, I found this copy of Brian Lara 2007 pressure play at a game shop, and because I knew how to fix the disc, I was able to buy it at a deep discount compared to importing a copy from Europe. If this video helped you, leave a like and a comment letting me know. And if you'd like to see more videos from me, subscribe. See you next time.